Welcome back to the Game Changers podcast. I'm your host, Jay Taft, and I'm here with my friend Taylor. Taylor, kind of give us a rundown of who you are.
Hi guys, my name is Taylor Hall. I'm a recently retired college athlete from Biola University, and I'm now a personal trainer and fitness influencer. So I'm super excited to be here with Jay. This is our first time meeting in person.
Yeah.
So
It's
I'm
so
super
awesome.
excited.
Yeah, we've been like internet friends for a while.
Yeah.
It's been probably like 6 months or so. We've been like internet friends, so it's really awesome to be able to like have you here, sit down, and like tell a little bit more about your story, which I'm excited because I don't know everything, so I'm learning with everybody else. So super awesome. But Taylor, we have something we do on every single podcast, and I ask, what is the biggest piece of advice you would give your younger basketball self?
Oh my gosh. I have so much advice that I would give to my younger self. I'm like, I wish I could go back in time. But first of all, I would say like, don't take it so seriously, because I was very like, I started later, and so everyone was so ahead of me at the time. Like, I literally started playing this summer going into my freshman year of high school.
Wow.
So girls were already playing since they were like 5.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I love this sport. I really want to play in college, and all of these girls are already getting college looks, like getting offers and stuff. And so I took it so seriously to the point of like, I feel like now I wish I was having more fun in my high school years, you know? Like, okay, Taylor, you can go to prom. You can go to these things. You don't have to miss out on stuff just because you want to practice. Like, yes, practicing is good, but at the same time, enjoy your life. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
I think that's the biggest thing. And then also, I did a lot of time training, and I wish I would have done more playing to like get to know the game more. Because, you know, like training is huge nowadays, which is important to like gain our skill and everything like that. But the IQ of the game, I feel like, has gone down a lot. And I was just talking to one of my trainers about this too. He's like, the IQ of the game is at an all-time low because people are doing so much training where it's like they need to get in game situations and play with others and to see like, okay, if this person's cutting here, you can pass it here, like that kind of thing.
For sure.
And I just, man, I think it's important to just have balance overall.
Sure. That's big.
Yeah.
Balance is huge. Yeah. Yeah. You said so many really good points there. I think what we're starting to see is where that balance comes into play, exactly with your point, because I think, one, obviously, like, you need to have game experience to be able to apply the skills that you're working on. Yeah. But I also, coming from a club coach who has coached high school club and middle school club, there's too much playing and not enough training. So it's yes, and it shows really big, especially now. So it's like this balance of like, you need to be able to train, but maybe it's application, because I feel like a lot of players are making the same mistakes over and over and over, or being afraid to make a mistake. So every training that they get, when it comes to a game, they're so tense and they're afraid to make a mistake. Where it's like, make the mistake, evaluate after your game, what did you do wrong? Now let's go train that. Then we come back to the game. So it is a balance for sure, but there's a lot of people who are just training 1 to 2 times a week, or it's team practice, not individual training or group sessions, and then they go out and they play, but they're making the same mistakes. Again, I say this quote all the time. Gino Auriemma said it, and he talks about how everyone goes to these exposure camps, and he goes, yeah, it's a way to expose you. Yeah. Because you go and like you make the same bad habits over and over and over and over again, instead of going back and working on them. So I think that there is a balance there for sure, but that, you know, but you also have to have some game experience, especially for you, because I feel like you started later, where some people got to work out maybe some kinks when they were like younger. Yeah. But I mean, you still played in college, so obviously something worked.
No, yeah, but that's a good point. Application. Like, it's so important to take what you're doing in training, and I think that's where I didn't do that, because I was just training, and I have all the skill in the world. Yeah. But like the application and the mental part of like, oh, I have all this skill, but where do I even use it in the game? Like, I didn't even know where to use it. So I definitely think that's important, is to have like that balance and reevaluate. Also, yeah, not being afraid to make mistakes, because I was so tense all the time that when you're afraid to make mistakes, that's when more mistakes happen.
Yeah. With that, not being like from your personal experience when it comes to making those mistakes, did you feel pressure? Like, where did that pressure kind of like root from? Was that like because you were maybe a late bloomer in the game just because you started late? Was that like coaches? Was that yourself? Like, where do you think that like pressure came from?
Literally myself.
Okay, yeah.
I'm like a perfectionist, so I would always put so much pressure on myself to perform. And then also I wanted to like impress my dad. My dad was like the biggest person. I didn't ever want to let him down, kind of thing. That. So after games, I'm sure you know how the car rides home would be. Like after club games.
For sure.
You know, it's just, I didn't want to let him down, so I was afraid. Like he was always at my games, my practices, so I'd look in the stands and be like, oh shoot, I made a mistake. Like this is not good. And then also within myself, I'm just such a self-motivated individual where it's like, I don't want to mess up like with anything in life. And I'm trying to get over that now. Like it's still a process, but I'm just such a perfectionist. Like I just always want to be perfect. So I think that came a lot from myself, and never really was it coaches. Like my coaches would always tell me like, relax, Taylor. I know what you can do. I know how you can play. Yeah. So just go out there and do your thing.
Yeah. That's interesting. 'Cause like, I feel like as the athlete experience, we all have different things. Like a lot of mine came from coaches' pressure or pressure I put on myself because of my journey and because of like the different adversity that I had to face with some coaches. I was like, well, duh, I'm here for a reason. I know I'm able. I know that I have the ability. I know this. So I had like pressure to prove. And that's where my stiffness came from, and my like, oh, I can't make this mistake. You know what I mean? It wasn't necessarily like a personal thing or like a parent thing, but I do know that there's a lot of athletes that struggle with like all those three aspects. So that's why I was like really curious to ask you where yours stem from. But that's really encouraging that you felt like your coaches weren't putting that pressure on you. That makes me happy.
And I would say my coaches I would say in the earlier years, like when I first started playing, they were super encouraging, and I had like a great foundation, so I'm super grateful for that. But then when I got into like my later high school years and then into college, I will say I felt pressure from the coaches, especially because you know how it is. Like you get a scholarship, yes, you earn your scholarship, but that's not guaranteed. Like you got to work every day. Yes, it's more business. So I will say I was very encouraged at the very beginning of my career, but it was later on where I did get some pressure from coaches, and it was a negative impact on like my mental and everything.
Yeah. So with that, looking back, and you've had what you said, like 6 weeks to kind of like reflect on your whole basketball career, like not even just like season, like your career. What advice or what kind of encouragement would you give to somebody right now who's like in the middle of that like pressure and like being tense and not playing free? What would you like tell them?
I would say control the controllables. Like
period.
You can only control your hard work, your attitude, your effort, and I know it sounds cliche, but it's so true. And so this is the first year that I was ever able to like actually accept that within myself, because I would get so frustrated, especially last year. Like I'm putting so much work in and I'm not seeing the results on the court. I'm not getting playing time, but I don't understand like why, because I'm killing these girls in practice. If you like, I'm like, coach, if you want to win, you would put me in the game. That's how I felt. I was like, I'm so much better than these girls. I'm so much more prepared. So it does not make logical sense that I'm not out there, but I can't control that. Like I don't have control over my coach, who he puts out there on the floor, like the playing time of other people, or I don't have control over how other people perform. So like I was content this year with, you know what? I'm doing my thing. I'm killing it. I know that. Others know that. Others are realizing that. If I'm not playing on the court, then that's his loss. That's the team's loss, like whatever. You know, I can't do anything about that. So it's like, it's tough because it really does take a mental toll on you, especially when you go play sports in college. Like you're literally at that college to play sports. And it's just like every day you're like, oh, why am I not out there?
I know. I remember first time hearing it at PGC. I don't know. Have you ever gone to PGC?
I have, yes.
Okay, yeah. So I grew up going to them. I actually worked for them for a little bit. Like PGC has my heart. I love them.
Okay, I love
but I love them. But when I remember my first session with them, and they talked about how, like, you know, they break down the percentage of like how much the game is mental, you know, and you're all like, there's no way that the game's 80% mental. What do you mean? Like, you're like, no, it's about skill. And then I like got to college and realized, oh shoot, my mental is not as good as I thought it was. And it's like, yeah, because it's like you said, controlling the controllables. Like, or you have to, was that even right? Did I even say that right? Yeah. Okay, I was like, for some reason that sounded really wrong in my brain. But yeah, like you like only can control what you can control. And that is so true because there's experiences that I've had. And actually, I've had a lot of players come up to me asking advice. It's like, coach, like, I want more playing time. What do I do? It's like, well, as a coach, you relay that. You say, well, X, Y, and Z, right? So I would be bold with my coach. I'd be, coach, like, what am I not doing? Because I feel like I'm doing what you're asking me to do. What am I not doing? And then they say X, Y, and Z. And half the time I was already doing those things, but I would make an extra point to do that, to show that, to be like, look, I'm doing it. And then if they decide not to play you after that, like it literally is, I have no control over that. I have control over like you said, effort. Am I a good teammate? Am I someone who contributes to this team in a positive way? You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, athletics ends. You know what I mean? You will play your last game. And I always say it, Sue Bird, Diana Taurasi, like Brianna Storr, all these women, they'll have a last game too, even though they're players that we look up to. Like everyone has their last game, but it's what is that legacy that you leave, right? That legacy in the sense of like, was I a good teammate or was I accountable? Can my coaches question my character truthfully? You know what I'm saying? And those are the things that matter and excel you. And that's, I mean, I'm sure that's to your motivation, but it was like my motivation for starting Us Girls Basketball was like, all of the adversity and all of the good things and all of the like ways I wanted to give back to the game through those game experiences was not just about the playing time or the skill set. It was all about the mental identity, who you are as a person, using the game to glorify the Lord. You know what I mean? Like all of those things, it's way bigger than playing time, even though that's all we see. So
exactly. It's so much bigger than basketball.
It is.
And like when I ended my career, I don't even know, 6 to 8 weeks ago, whatever, I was very like content with where I'm at, even though I didn't really have closure, because I'll look back at pictures and be like, oh my God, when I was in my prime time, man, I was loving the game and I could just feel my passion through those pictures. But it's like, you know what? I know I'm moving on and the ball has stopped bouncing for me like right now. And I'm bigger than basketball. I know my identity isn't in the game. And I have so much more to bring to life, like, than sports. Like, sports don't define who I am, but they have helped shape me into who I am today.
Period.
You know?
I got chills from that.
Oh, my God. Shut up.
That was so good. Like, that's exactly why I wanted to have this conversation with you, though.
Yeah.
Because, like, through your socials, like, I could tell immediately that you were, like, like what I like to say is my worth's not in the stats. Like that number that's in that stat book does not define you. Like I had a coach that literally would do like negative positive players, you know what I mean? Like and like track everything. Be like, oh, you're in the negative today, you're in the positive. And like don't get me wrong, like there is some tactic to that and I get it, but it's like also too you have to have some positive reinforcement to that. You're literally just like putting that player down and not helping the player get better or like giving them advice. You're just like, oh, you're a negative player, like screw you, you're kind of just in this hole, like figure it out.
And I think a lot of coaches have good intentions behind that, but maybe they just don't know the right approach. Like my college coach would show us highlight reels of turnovers, just turnovers the whole time, and then there was no positive reinforcement at the end.
Yeah, see, that's rough.
So it's like, okay, we're just watching ourselves fail. Like we need to also watch ourselves succeed so that we remember the good things and we're able to go out there on the court and do the good things. Like you think we're gonna have a good game after we watch ourselves turn the ball over 10 times in a row? Like absolutely not.
I'm defeated.
Like yeah, exactly, defeated. So I think a lot of times maybe they have good intentions, like these coaches that are showing us these things, but it's just not portrayed in the right way. And each individual has a different style. I'm sure you know this as a coach, has a different style that they need to be coached by. Like someone needs to be screamed at in the face while another person needs to be pulled to the side and be like talked to like softly.
Absolutely. I haven't finished it because I'm awful at reading books, like getting through them.
Me too.
But I started reading the 5 love languages because it applies to everything, not just like a romantic relationship, to friendships, to how you coach people. I'm so glad you said that because every player needs and has unique individual needs on how to be coached. And like you said, after a mistake, that might be a high five or like a fist bump, you know, something like that. Just like physical touch, like that positive reinforcement, you are seen. Some of them, like you said, need to be screamed at. Sometimes screaming at them actually motivates them more, which is like hilarious to me. You know, some of them might just need a second. They just need time to chill out and they're fine. They need to process it. So that's a really good point. I agree with you.
There's no one size fits all method when it comes to coaching, or like, now I'm called a coach, but I'm like a trainer. It's so weird to me because people are like, Coach Tay, and I'm just like,
isn't it funny?
It's so weird.
Yeah.
Because I'm just used to being like the athlete or like the player or whatever. So now that I'm a coach, I can kind of read people off the first or second session and be like, this person, I need to like yell at them and push them through it because they're just going to give up, you know?
Yeah.
And then someone else, I'm like, I need to encourage them to help them get through this workout. Or I need to like be more specific with how they're breaking down their form and stuff like that. So it's very, it's not like a broad thing. Same thing when it comes to nutrition, anything in life, like everyone has their own individualized approach. So I think that's important for everyone to understand, and even teammates too, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because that's a really good point. I didn't even think about like communication with teammates because I'm so in coach mode. You know what I mean? You're just like, just be nice to each other. You know, you're just like, God, like, especially with girls, you're like,
oh my God,
this
are the worst. I'm like, please, we are on the same team. We're all trying to win.
Literally.
Why are you rooting against me? Like, I know it's a competition for playing time, like you said, but literally next year, no one's gonna care if you average 20 minutes a game, 3 rebounds and 10 assists. Like, John down the street is gonna be like, I don't care.
I don't care.
It's just in who you are as a person, and like if you're good to others and whatever, you're living your life and you're happy, like it's not about the hoops. But anyways, I just got off topic there. But girls want to put other girls down a lot of times.
Yeah.
And I'm like, come on, we're trying to uplift each other. We're trying to like build each other up in this team. And if you guys want to win, we can't fight. Because girls, if we fight off the court, we're bringing that on the court.
Oh, I know.
Like, it's just,
It's not good.
Yeah.
It's tough. And it's just like, I don't know. We're very emotionally driven. Like, by human nature, we are emotionally driven. Like, that's just how we're designed. So I get it. But it's also, too, like, kind of taking a step back. And, like, what I had to tell my girls a lot is, like, yes, maybe their approach to giving you constructive feedback or like whatever wasn't maybe the nicest, or they like it was frustration, you could tell, but like stop being so offended.
Yes.
And I keep trying to tell my girls that, like when I would coach them and stuff, like there's a difference between like you actually being nasty versus like you just made a mistake and you're frustrated and you're just vocally like saying that frustration. There's a difference.
Absolutely.
And so I try to tell them, I'm like, sometimes don't listen to the tone of what's being said, listen to what's being said. And I try to tell, especially during the game. Again, if there's like a situation where it's like bullying or they are being nasty to you or they're putting you down specifically, okay, there's a different conversation.
Yeah.
But if it's like they made a bad pass and they're frustrated that you didn't cut, or they're frustrated that you didn't catch it and they just outwardly said something, just let it go. In one ear, out the other. Know your teammates. Know if you have a hothead on your team. Let's be real. Some of us are hotheads. We're athletes. Like, that's just part of it. If they are a hothead, literally just, like, know that and stop taking it so personally. So that's a whole other, that is a topic for sure.
No, literally. And it's not personal at the end of the day. Like,
no.
You know, if some teammates yelling at you because you didn't catch their pass, they're honestly just more frustrated at themselves than they are at you.
Absolutely.
And then they're letting that frustration show through, like, whatever it may be. So it's hard not to take it personal, especially as females, because I know men can just go out there and like literally throw hands, and then they'll be like besties on the court.
And they like respect each other more after they fight. I'm like, okay.
All right, so bro, like, yeah. But like I had this girl in high school who was on my team, and she was pissed that I didn't throw her the ball when I like was going down the lane. And I remember this vividly because it was hilarious. Like, I was going down the lane, I drew a foul, and the next practice we were doing this drill where you just have to like pass it around the perimeter, and she like in the drill would not pass it to me. And I'm like, hey, you have to pass it to me in order to like get this drill completed. And she goes, well, you didn't pass it to me last night when you were on the fast break and I was wide open. I was like, but I just got 2 free points for the team. But it's stuff like that, like girls are petty. It's like so annoying.
Yeah, it's so prideful.
Yeah. How is that with coaching at you know, like the high school level?
It's Frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
This year was pretty good, like drama wise. At least I didn't see as much, or they just didn't tell me. And I'm pretty good. Like they think they're slicker than they are.
Oh my
Like I'm like
gosh.
I'm a girl first of all,
Yeah.
and I played second of all, and I also have eyes and ears. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So like there were definitely some like times where I had to like get on them about just like being poor teammates and stuff, but it wasn't as bad as my first year. My first year, I literally had to sit them down and say, like, the next person, like, if I hear any case at all drama wise, you're kicked off. And he actually kicked a girl off like a week before season ended because I was just like,
It was too much.
it was too much. And
Jeez.
so there is like frustrations with that, but it's just frustrating when someone explained it to me when I think I was a player, and it made sense. And I bring it into coaching. So it's like, okay, but still trying to figure out how to relay this. It's like when you're in high school, right? You don't know what it's like to be in college. You don't know what it's like to be an adult. So it's like that's your bubble. That's all you see. That's all you know. So nothing in this world feels bigger than your high school years. Then when you get to college, nothing feels bigger than those college years. Like you can't,
True.
you can only imagine what adult life will look like, but you aren't living it fully, right? So being on the outside, it's like, holy crap, like the things I used to worry about or get frustrated about or like stay up at night thinking about, literally I don't even remember what those are now. And it's hard because it's frustrating because you want to relay it to them and you're telling them, but they have to make that choice for themselves. You know what I'm saying? So that's again where whole other topic, but like those 1%er players come out of, because it's like the ones who truly get it or are trying to apply that application are the ones that are going to go far. The ones that are just still stuck in the high school bubble, just really, I just want to be on the team to be on the team. Like if I have drama, like I have drama, I'm going to do that, whatever. But like at the end of the day, again, you're probably going to go as far as you want in this sport because you're gonna like not be in it for the right reasons. And also too, when you graduate, you're not gonna be respected. And those are the consequences that you're dealt with. You know what I mean? And that's really hard. It's really frustrating. It's really sad because as a coach, like I got into the profession because I care, because I want to give back. Like if you're in the coaching profession to make it all about you, you're in the wrong profession. You're literally serving.
We need more people like you, Jay. No, for real.
Like it's the Lord. Like really it is, because like being a Christian, like you're called to serve, right? That's what this profession is about, serving. I can't coach if I don't have players who want to play, right? And again, coming from an experience where I was mentally abused by coaches, you're literally like, I never want to like do that to them. You know what I'm saying? And you want to be able to feed life into them and light and be a reflection of Jesus to them. So it's really hard where you're like, I want to give you all the advice, you know what I'm saying? But if you don't want to take it, you don't want to take it. But again, I can't have an ego as a coach because then my team goes down, right? You tell your leaders all the time not to have an ego. You're the first leader. So it's like, how can I serve you? And that's just like getting to know them on an individual basis too. You know what I'm saying? And like when you build that trust with them, it's like the best thing in the world. Like I would never trade this profession. It's so mentally exhausting, but at the same time, it is one of the most fulfilling things ever.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. Like, but honestly, it's like I'm not perfect. But if I didn't have Jesus, I think I would let a lot more ego get to me. Because it is, I mean, don't get me wrong. We had a very, very successful season this year. But again, it's like, I know that there are things I could have done better. I'm still a second year going on third year coach. You know what I mean? So it's like, I can't let ego get to me.
Yeah.
And that was like the biggest thing. So it is frustrating. But again, I just really, really try to ground myself in like the Lord and like even dedicating time to like, because again, I came from something that was like mental abuse, like from coaches. So it was like, I don't want that to like come out in me at all or like say mean things to the girls or whatever. So it would be like sometimes the games, instead of listening to like pump up music, I'd listen to worship music. You know what I mean? Or like pray right before, like, Lord, speak through me to these girls. You know what I'm saying? How can I be a light? Because the one thing coaching that I didn't realize, I was like, I don't think I'm a yeller. I'm a yeller. Like it comes out in you. Like when you're just like coaching something in you, it's just like,
girl, me too.
It comes
Even when
out.
I'm training these people one-on-one.
Yes.
Like, girl, I'm not a yeller. I'm gonna keep it calm because like I don't want people yelling at me. But I'm like, come on, like let's go.
Yeah.
But it's not even like in a demeaning way.
Oh,
it's
for
in
sure.
an encouraging way, because I just like, and I'm sure you do too, think about what you would want people to say to you as a player. And it helps that we've been through this stuff, and so you're able to like okay, what would I want done to me?
Yeah.
Now you can do onto other people.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's challenging cuz like they're frustrating. I love them, but they're frustrating and they know that. Like they know like I'm so real with them, but they like respect it cuz I want to be a coach that's respected.
Yeah.
Like I'm fair. I'm telling you exactly what I'm thinking and all that, but you also can have a conversation with me and we can chat. You know what I mean? But it's like I love you
Yeah.
and I'm correcting you out of love. You know, and it's just like that
Exactly.
instead of like correcting out of like ego or you're mad because they made a mistake. You know what I'm saying? It's like I would actually it reinforce like I would say positive reinforcement through mistakes. So it's like if I could see them trying to make the right pass, I'm telling them I saw what you were trying to do there.
Yeah.
But we do this.
I love that.
You know what I mean? Because that's important. Instead of like they like no one purposely tries to miss a layup.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No one purposely tries to miss
or
a
you
layup.
think I was really trying to throw it to the other team? Like, why would I ever do that?
Exactly. And like of course there's frustrations or sometimes you verbally be like, "Oh, like come on," you know what I mean? But it's like they don't try to miss a layup. You know what I'm saying? So it's like just like cueing your words better. And again, I'm not perfect at this, but I'm mindful about it. And I really try to be like really mindful about all that stuff. So, but also too, one thing I want to like dive into conversation about is how has your transition been from athlete to now retired athlete? Like, has that been a struggle or have you felt kind of like a good flow of like just diving in?
Girl, I still feel lost.
Yeah. And that's
Like,
okay. You're 6 weeks out. Like, that's so
Like,
fine. Yeah.
I thought, it's easier said than done. I was like, I'm fine. I'm a fitness lover. I'm going to just cruise right into this fitness career, be a coach, whatever. But I just recently had a mental breakdown last week where I just started crying. Like, first of all, I just graduated college. So another change is happening. College basketball ended and then I'm graduating. So now I'm like living here on my roommate's floor because I don't have a place to rent until June. And I'm just confused, honestly, because like sometimes I just feel like, okay, I don't have a sense of purpose because my schedule is different. I don't have practice every day. I think that's the biggest thing for me because I'm a very like schedule person.
Yeah.
And so change is a little bit scary because then I don't have that same schedule that I do all the time. So like I used to wake up early in the morning and go to the basketball gym, get shots up. Now it's wake up early in the morning and go work out because I'm just a morning person like overall. And then I would have class, and then after that we'd have practice, weights, film, like whatever. And then now it's like it's the same kind of like schedule, but it's different stuff. So workout, have train people, I do some content creation, go back to train people, and then it's like a cycle, but it's just also still an adjustment. So it's definitely not as smooth as I had thought, but it's it's also a relief because I feel like life is exciting right now. I'm excited. I'm excited for what's to come.
I love that. I love that because I was just talking to a friend who's going through kind of a big transition period in her life, and I was trying to tell her, I was like, try to like shift your mindset to where the unknown is exciting. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, holy crap, like this, like literally the door just like is wide open to like what the Lord's gonna do in your life.
Wide open, especially right now. It's so exciting. Like we're young, like we can do anything. I feel like I'm not tied down to my job right now. Like even though I have a great job at a great location where I'm able to like meet so many people and learn so many new things, it's like I know that I'm not tied down to this for the rest of my life, and I feel so much freedom in that. And then also like I can travel if I want to. My coach isn't telling me like where I can sleep, where I can eat when I'm on travel vacations. Like I can like just go and do my own thing, and it's just amazing.
Really awesome.
Yeah.
Is so you're doing more fitness coaching right now, but is basketball coaching like at all in like kind of your wants or desires?
I want to cater a lot of my stuff towards athletes because I feel like that's where like I'm most knowledgeable.
Absolutely.
And I love working with athletes because I feel their passion, and that passion kind of like drives me to help them get to the next level, because I'm like, I know where you're at. I went through the exact same thing. Especially female athletes, like I love when they're able to come up to me and be like, oh, hey, I love how you train, like what, and asking me questions about how was college basketball, like what was your journey like. And I'm like, oh my God, I can help you exactly. Plus I don't want them to tear anything. Like ACL is huge. I tore my ACL twice.
Oh, you did it twice?
Oh my gosh, and I'm just like, you know, and that's the biggest thing for a girl. So I'm just like, also I want to help you become a better athlete, mentally, physically, emotionally, everything. And then also help you prevent injury. But basketball specifically wise, it could be. I just need a break right now. Like I literally just need a break from the ball.
Yeah. And that's okay.
Yeah.
That is okay. You can take a break from the ball. I think people just don't. That's a good thing. Take a break from the ball. That's a good like episode.
No, literally.
That's just a good like thing in general to talk about.
No, because I feel like the longest break, how long was your break in between your entire career? Because I don't think I took more, honestly, to be honest with you, without touching a basketball through the time that I was playing when I started playing my freshman year of high school. I don't think I stopped touching a ball for more than 3 days at a time, because I was obsessed. Like it was an obsession.
I think the one I did was 3 weeks, or not 3 weeks, 1 week. But it's because I forced myself. Like, because I had one season where it was just really physically hard on me. Like, I could feel it, like, after season where I was like, nope, I need to do nothing for 1 week, rest, recover, and then hit it back hard. But, like, yeah, that's a great point. You still think about it. It's like, again, it's funny, too, because some of my friends who aren't in athletics, you know, you think it's just basketball season, and then, like, oh, my gosh, you have so much free time. I said, nope. I said, it's preseason. It's season, it's off season, preseason, season, off. I said it doesn't stop. Like you're constantly going. So it's like a lot of these athletes they're getting like a week off and that's it. You know what I mean? And then they're back in like team stuff, or it's immediately into club, or it's immediately into like whatever. So yeah, it's weird.
And then it catches up to you. Yeah. Like after all of these years, I'm like, I really have not taken any time off, and it feels great to just take a break, not have to do the same training over and over again. I can go to the gym when I want. I can do whatever workouts that I want, and it's not like I'm forced to go do my ball. Like I never would say I felt forced, because I'm a self-motivated person. So it's like I want to do this to get better so that I can be the best basketball player possible. But it's nice to, you know, switch it up. And then I think after a year, however long I need to just mentally be, I can watch basketball, that's fine. Yeah. But like to just be playing and training with it, then I'll get back to the gym, and I'm sure I'll like find that love again, that spark, because at the end of the day, I really do love the game.
Yeah. And you don't want to get burnt out of it. You know what I mean? And it's good that you still love it. Because it was like, it can turn really toxic really quick, you know? And there was like things where I think for me, it was a year or so before really like getting back into the considering the game at all. Like
really? So you took a year off?
I took a year off completely.
No touching the basketball, no coaching, nothing?
Nope, nothing.
Okay. That's encouraging, because now you're into it and you're into the game.
Exactly. Yeah, it was like, I mean, I was working for PGC a good, like right before COVID, I started coaching, and that was like that was the next season. So I like stopped, and then that season came around, and then I started like getting back into it a little bit. And then COVID was when I like got back into basketball, or like considering it again. But yeah, once I was done, I actually thought like basketball was over for me, like everything wise, it was over, because again, I was like a film major and photographer. Right now. Yeah. So I was like, oh, like actually I can dive into my creative side a little bit more. And it was exciting, but it also was like, I felt even like, is this really like that purpose? You know what I'm saying? And it's insane when like, you just allow rest and you allow the Lord to like work in you during that restful period, that pruning period, because he brought basketball back to me. Like it was not a choice. It was a like, he's showing this to me, and I like took it and like ran with it, where it was like, if I was trying so hard on another purpose, it wasn't working, you know? So it's like allowing your time to, or allowing yourself to have that rest and that time. And two, it's like one thing I've noticed about you is like, you enjoy fitness a lot. So I can see you like taking it from that side instead of being like an on-court coach. Like I can see that you enjoy fitness a lot, and that's like really encouraging and awesome, because like I've talked about it before on like a previous podcast, but like my thing was I struggled really, really bad with like motivation to work out, because I didn't realize that my motivation to work out was to get better at basketball. Whether that was like to earn a varsity spot, to earn a college scholarship, to earn a spot on my college team. You know what I mean? Like it was always like that. I was working out for that, not working out because working out is healthy for you. And it was like really weird. Like I didn't realize that was my motivation until after. So that's been like a struggle for me, was like, what am I working out for?
Yeah. I think that's a struggle for a lot of the athletes that I run into too, because they don't really like to like go into the gym and lift. And for me, that's like a passion. Like I really love,
and I can
spending
tell.
time. Yes.
Yeah, I can tell. Yeah.
I really love spending time in the gym and doing these different workouts. But most people, it's like, why would I work out if I'm not getting better at a sport?
It makes like, when you say it out loud, you're like,
yeah,
what?
like what? Yeah.
To be healthy? And I'm like, no.
No, yeah. And I'm like, no, guys, it's just so fun. And you don't have to like kill yourself every single day. It doesn't have to be sprints. Like, I'm grateful I will never have to run a 16 ever again in my life. I don't have to run a suicide ever again in my life. Like, I can choose to go on the tread and just do some like 10-second sprints. Yeah, you know what I mean? So I find that a lot with athletes. That's so funny that you say that, because it's like, what's the purpose of working out if I'm not out here training to get better?
It's so bad.
So, but like, I think that what I want to do is help bring fun to fitness and fun to training, where it's like people want to come in here to get better and to get more athletic, because that stuff is going to carry out onto the court. And I think what made me fall in love with fitness is when I tore my ACL and I saw my leg go from like literally this, like nothing. And I never realized the importance of like lifting and doing all these other things, because I was always just wanting to hoop. I always just wanted to train. Yeah. And then so when I saw like the effects of fitness and like everything that I put into my body and how that like benefited me on the court as well, then I was like, oh wow, like there's so much more to this than just going to work out. And it was fun for me, because it was fun to see the journey, and it was hard, and afterwards I felt great. So I kind of want to bring that side to fitness, where it's like, even if you're not training for basketball specifically, it's fun because you want to get in the gym. And I want to be a fun coach too. I'm not over here like drill sergeant, like let's go. But like, it's going to be a fun workout, and it's never going to be the same, because I don't want to ever do the freaking same lift every single Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Like, no. There's so many different things you can do in challenging your body and challenging yourself. And I'm competitive too, so I want to get like groups together. You know? Yeah. And it's like way more fun when you're working out with friends or with a team.
Absolutely. So what do you do? Like, is there any like some like your go-to, or like something that you bring that fun to fitness? Like, what is that for you? What does that look like?
So right now I'm doing a little like speed and agility camp in June, which is going to be my first ever one, because I'm pretty new. Yeah. And I'm excited for that, because I'm going to put people up against each other that are like the same competition, same level. And we're going to be doing a lot of different racing stuff. Everything's going to be a competition. So whether it's like quick feet, it's like, okay, how many quick feet can you do in this amount of time? Or if it's a racing, it's like we're putting people against each other. And it's still working out. You're getting a sweat, but you're not really thinking about how hard you're working, because you're competing the whole time. And I think competing really brings that part into fitness, where you're not just focusing on getting through the workout, but pushing each other and doing it together. That's just so like awesome. Bringing a team environment to it.
I love that. Yeah. That's so fun. Yeah. It's really cool seeing like your TikToks and your Instagram posts and stuff about like your fitness stuff, and like your transition just from an outside perspective, like seeing that like you like being so open about like your story and how basketball ended for you. And then it was like, boop, we're back in it. We're this, you know what I mean? But also too, not in a like, I feel like it was very real still. Like I didn't feel like you were like masking anything. You know what I'm saying? Like
That's
we're always going through
because I felt like it was like, I am very, it needs to happen fast. I have these goals. Like I have a goal of, and you too, of owning my own business. So I'm like, this stuff, this content creation stuff needs to start now. It needs to go places like ASAP. So right when I ended my basketball career, I'm like, all right, I need to go into this avenue. So I'm glad that it seemed kind of like natural, because I wasn't trying to be like, okay, basketball's over. That period of my life is over. I still want to kind of carry that into that's always going to be a part of me. I'm always going to be an athlete, you know, but I don't want to just like shift so quickly. You know?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yes, there is so much. I've been like really digging in a lot with like rest and like those grace periods, or those periods where you're just called to kind of just sit. Just sit. You know what I mean? What does that look like? Like you're still stewarding your time, right? You're still being obedient, but like you're not always go, 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 go. And that's how I am wired, is more of like a like I want to reach my goals like
Yes.
fast, this. I've gotten a lot better, but it was really hard. So that's like really awesome too, because it's like being able to sit and kind of go through the experience of like first time trainer. How can I correlate this from athlete? How can I bring like my knowledge into now training just to train and not necessarily a specific sport or goal or whatever,
Yes.
just for fitness and for fun. So I love that. I love how you're like bringing fun to fitness. I think that's
Fun to
so
fitness.
fun.
Yes, and it's like lifestyle change. I don't
Period.
want people to just do like
Yes.
go into the gym, because I had this girl come in to me, said, I want to lose weight for summer. I'm like, let's lose weight for a lifestyle change, and then continue that healthy lifestyle for the rest of your life. Because if you just want to lose weight, you just want to be on a diet like right now, it's going to be a yo-yo effect. And you're never going to really be happy in life if you're just trying to reach a goal for like just one point in your life. Yes, set goals, but continue to set those goals, and that's going to be a whole lifestyle change.
That's amazing. I love it. Okay, so one thing too I want to ask, because you know you're a Christian, and that's one thing like I think is really awesome. You know, just being an athlete in or being a Christian in the athlete space sometimes is like really hard to find or truly like pursuing the Lord. So what are some things being a Christian that you can like correlate like sport to your faith, and like how did you see those things coexist? What would you have done differently, or like what are some pieces of advice for like athletes right now who are searching for God or trying to live for God, but also trying to like be the best they can at sports?
I would just say live without fear, because God doesn't want us to have fear in life, right? So if we live for him and we live through him, we should never fear anything, because he's going to take all of our situations and turn them into good. Like everything that happens in our life happens for a reason. It happens for the good of God. So for me, like I was a lot of times fearful, like I said, fearful to make mistakes, like afraid to do things because I didn't think that was in the right intention. But it's like, we are all sinners. We're going to sin. And God is going to forgive us. So don't be fearful. Go out there, try new things. Don't be afraid to make mistakes on the basketball court. Don't be afraid to play against the best competition out there. Don't be afraid to push yourself, because you know God is by your side through everything. And I think that's what I've just realized too within this past year, is like I need to set all my worries aside, because I'm doing this for God, and he's there.
Absolutely. And again, our salvation is not in our stats.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Period.
It's not in our stats. It's not what we're like. He's not looking at us and saying, "Oh, you didn't average 20 points. Like you're not good enough." Right? Our salvation is not in works. Our salvation is not in our ability to be a best basketball player or football player or softball player or track athlete or whatever. Our salvation lies in that Jesus died for our sins. He took that shame upon him, and he died for us. It is not in how you live your life. Well, it isn't how you live, but you know what I'm saying? It's not in the works of that. So it's just like that whole going back to controlling what you can control, and knowing that like if I made a bad pass, or I didn't get 20 points this game, or maybe I had more turnovers than I normally do, that doesn't determine your worth, right? When we start idolizing our sport and idolizing who we are as an athlete, that's when things can go like downhill really quick, and that your identity is in that basketball player. And it is tough being an athlete, especially college athletes, right? When that's what you do. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of times you're choosing a major because that doesn't have a lot of time requirement.
Yes, girl.
Because of how many things you have to do as a college athlete. You know what I'm saying? So it is really hard not to make it your identity or make it your worth. I mean, I told people all the time, like within 5 minutes of meeting me, you would know I played college basketball. It was my identity.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? But the Lord literally, like, I'll tell more about my testimony in a different episode, but it's like the Lord literally had to take basketball away from me to be like, that's not your identity. That is not your sole purpose on this earth. You know what I'm saying? He had to take it away from me to go through a whole, like, almost like year and a half pruning process. And then he was so graceful and so amazing and redeemed it and just said, okay, here you go.
Yeah.
Now guess what? Now you're going to use basketball to be the vehicle to spread the gospel.
That's the biggest thing. That's the biggest thing, is our identity is not in it. Same thing that happened to you. He had to take the game away from me through injury.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's
People
crazy.
don't realize that. Nope. That was so good. Go off.
Yeah. Because I literally would be like, there people will be like, hey, what's your name? I'm like, I'm Taylor, the basketball player. Like, if my performance
Yeah.
on the court sucked, I would feel like I'm a terrible person, literally, because I didn't score more than 10 points in a game. So yeah, my identity was so wrapped up. Then I tore my ACL. I'm like, oh shoot, I can't talk about basketball anymore because I can't even play at all. So what do I even talk about? I was like, okay, let's see, what are my other interests?
Yeah, and it's like crickets. I don't know.
I don't know. And I can't do anything because I'm in this freaking brace. My knee is just straight out. So it's like, you really have to discover yourself. And that's when I think I really connected with the Lord and was like praying and like, God, what is my purpose on this earth?
Yeah.
If it's not basketball, what is my purpose? Because, you know, injury really puts a different toll on your life. Like, oh, wow, it's going to come to an end.
Yeah.
So I think that's the biggest thing. And I always tell people, don't put your identity in your sport because you are so much bigger than that. You are so much bigger than that. And know that you're doing everything that you are right now for the good of God.
Yeah.
And that's all that matters.
Literally. Because it's like I always tell people to never put your identity in something that can be taken away from you. So it's like an injury. An injury could be like the sport's taken away from you for a week, 9 months, like an ACL is, or you could have a career-ending injury and it's completely gone, right? Same thing with with school. Okay, there's at one point where you're not gonna have school. Your worth is not in your test grade. You know what I'm saying? Like that, like you could, like, you know, there could be something that happens and then you're like disabled. Like there are things that are in real life where like everything that we're working for, all these worldly achievements could be taken away from us. But the one thing that can't be taken away from us is our identity in Christ.
And that goes in life too, not just in sport. Like you said with the grades, I used to be like, oh, I'm a straight A student. I'm a great person. No, that does not define us. Like,
Nope.
It literally, no achievement, no works, like you said, is going to ever define us in life.
No.
It's just, I just think the most important thing is to be happy and to be joyful through Christ. And we're going to like live a life of salvation if we're doing things for him and we just like realize that, you know, our life has a bigger purpose than our stats, our grades, the amount of money that we have. Like, yes, we want these goals in life, and yes, we have these goals and we've been given the gifts to achieve them, like through God. Yeah. And so that's what we're put on this earth to do. And you're put on this earth to teach girls how to play basketball and how to do it the right way and to influence them in a positive manner. And so it's just like we have a bigger purpose.
Exactly. And that's not knocking, like, again, you and I both, we love athletics. You know what I'm saying? But God gave us that desire to love athletics. That is a very unique desire because even too, this is how like specific God is. We both were college athletes, but like look at like our like rooted desires in athletics. Yours is more now fitness, you know what I mean? Doing a little bit different. Mine's like strictly like on the court coaching, which you could get there. Obviously, that's something that's in your brain, but it's like some of our specific purposes within that desire is so unique. And I think that's like really, really awesome and cool. But again, it's like same thing. Like if you're an educator, that's still amazing. That's a desire that he has put on your heart. That is an ability that is given you. You know what I'm saying? If you're really good at art, you're really good with the camera, you're really good with like whatever. You know what I'm saying? Public speaking, like all that stuff. Like he has given you that desire, that he's giving you that ability. But that's only to glorify him. That is not your sole identity. You know what I mean? So it's like, yes, I coach basketball, but first I'm his daughter. I'm the child of the king. He has given me basketball, like I like to say, to use it as a vehicle to spread the gospel. You know what I'm saying? So like being a teacher, that's like being able to reach kids. That's a vehicle to spread the gospel. You teaching fitness, you know what I'm saying? Like, and helping people get through tough workouts, whether that's even all the way down to holding a plank for a minute. You know what I'm saying? The words that you're speaking and the light that you're reflecting to them is glorifying to God. You don't have to necessarily say like, Jesus, you know what I'm saying? But like in your words and in your actions is, and how you live your life as a light is, and his reflection is glorifying to him. So it's like not us saying like, oh my God, if you love basketball, if you love fitness, if you love math, you know what I'm saying? That's not a sin, but like, don't make it your identity. So I'm very passionate about this topic.
No, I love it.
Because my identity was so wrapped in it, and I see so many people struggle with it, and it hurts. It hurts me.
It hurts, and it's like I don't know how to relay besides just by being like a person of God to it's hard to relay, like, don't put your identity in Christ. It's hard to just, like, tell people that, right?
Yeah.
And because I was so wrapped up in it, and people would tell me that all the time, like, don't be so wrapped up in basketball. Don't be so, like, putting your identity in this or that. But unless you're out of it on the other side, it's, I don't know, it's difficult.
It is.
You know?
It's really difficult. So, Taylor, what's next for you? Like, what are some things, like, ending off this episode, what is, like, on your heart? What is next? What do you want to kind of tell people about yourself that you want them to know about?
I just want you guys to know that I am here to leave a positive impact on anybody who enters my life, everyone in this community, whether it's basketball, whether it's fitness, whether it's health, literally any arena in life. I just want to be a light to this world. Like, I feel like I have an energy that's contagious, and that, you know, can help people and motivate people to just live their best lives, live the healthiest and happiest versions of themselves. And so my goal is to really build a brand out of this fitness platform and eventually become TAY, Train As You, Thrive As You. Okay, guys, remember, is it TAY, Train As You, Thrive As You?
Remember.
Hashtag it.
Hashtag that ish.
I'm all about freaking, like, acronyms.
Yeah.
So, like, my podcast, it's called SIS. It's like, she is serious. You know? It's
Acronym
just
queen.
Acronyms, yeah. So I am just trying to grow something where it's going to inspire others.
Yeah.
And just like you, Jay, I just want to be a positive impact on everyone's life. So that's basically what's in my future. Fitness right now. And then, you know, maybe basketball down the road.
Maybe.
I just need to get back into the gym. Maybe we should, like, go hoop it up together.
Let's do it.
Let's, like, play some
I would
horse
love
or something.
to. Please.
We'll start off slow. We'll do pig, horse, then we'll do, like,
we'll
2
build
on 2,
up.
3 on 3.
Because, girl, I'm out of shape.
Girl,
Basketball shape.
basketball shape is different.
I literally showed, this is so embarrassing, I literally showed my girls a drill the other day, and, like, I was trying to coach through it, and I literally was like, like, I was like, I can't do this right now.
No, literally, I did,
embarrassing.
like, okay, I will say I did touch a ball one time.
Okay.
And I just tried to do, like, some ball handling. I maybe it was, like, 30 seconds. Bro, pounding the ball. Tough. I forgot how hard basketball shape was.
Tough. It's like, I'm not doing this
Those
anymore.
in-place ball handling drills be the hardest. Yeah, it's tough.
I'm done being an athlete. I'm just like,
Yeah.
Side note, what's your where can they find you on Instagram? All social media platforms. What is it?
Okay, Insta is @_ No. Backtrack. Changed it. It's @TayHall _. So we're going by Tay.
Switch the underscore. For front to back.
It's front to back now. So you can find me easier @TayHall _.
That's too good.
And then same thing on TikTok @TayHall _ on YouTube. I believe it's @Taylor Hall _ So we stay having that underscore.
She has that underscore down pat.
It's because my name is so basic. I have to add, like, the little things. I just wanted it to be Tay Hall or just Taylor Hall.
Yeah.
But it's just a basic name. I hate to say it.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's all right.
It's your name.
Yeah, it's Tay.
It's your given name. You got you. But the thing is you're going to make that name known.
Yes.
Because of, like, the impact you're going to.
Oh, absolutely.
You're going to leave. That's amazing. Well, Tay, thank you so much for being on this podcast. It's been an honor to get to know you more, just have conversation with you. And I know for sure you're going to be back. Absolutely. If you'd want to come back, you have a seat on this
Jay,
couch.
I just have to say, like, I know I'm a jitter person. Like, you guys probably saw me moving, like, so many times for this podcast. But this has been so fun, and I just love, like, this is a therapy session for me too, just like talking to you, and this has been awesome. So thank you so much for having me, and I can't wait to be back.
Yes, amazing.
And you're gonna do big things with this podcast
We're
and
trying.
with your brand too. So I'm super excited to see where you are.
Thank you. The camera cut, we had some difficulties, but thank you guys so much for watching this episode of Game Changers. Please like and leave a comment at us too on our Instagram account who you would want to be a guest next, because we just want to bring influential, positive, impactful people on to hear their stories. So we'll see you guys next time. Peace.